Okay, today I am going to show you how you can use your Lenormand cards to get fabulous answers of what's going to happen with current events. I'm going to use my Lenormand cards to answer two different questions about current events. All right. So the first one is about the U.S. running out of diesel fuel, and the other one is about this time change. What's going to happen with this time change? So let's go ahead. We're going to watch a video first. Then I'm going to ask the question, use my Lenormand cards to see what we can get.
Scott Yates is about to set his clocks back 1 hour, as we do every fall when the nation falls back to standard time. But Yates, like a growing number of Americans, is sick of it. A few years ago, Yates' wife said, "Stop complaining about it and do something." So he started a blog, compiling various studies and reports about why we change our clocks, what the economic impacts are, even some pretty striking evidence that this back and forth switching can harm people's health.
I'm awfully tired of having to change my clocks every season that we're supposed to change it. So the question that I'm going to ask the Lenormand cards, okay, is what is the forecast for the continuing use of daylight savings? So let's go ahead. I'm going to change my camera so that you can see me as I do my cards. All right, so the question is, after watching that video, is what is the forecast for continuing use of the daylight savings time? Now, the cards deck that I'm going to use is this one, and it actually has an extended edition. And guess what's included is a time card. So I'm going to actually add this to the 36 regular cards that are in a deck so that we can have a better chance of getting an answer. Okay, so what is the forecast for the continuing use of daylight savings time? I'm going to activate that time card first. Okay. And I'm going to shuffle a little bit more. All right, so let's see if we can get an answer. All right, so I'm going to look at the cards. I'm going to go find that time card that I put in here. There it is. Okay. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so let's look at the cards. It's so interesting that we have the moon cycle. So what in the tree, it can mean health as well. So this is so interesting because whenever you're looking at this card and you got the moon cycles here, it can also mean your emotions and everything else, but I am going to stick with, because we're talking about daylight savings time, that it does evolve around the calendar and that it does have cycles to it, okay? And it's very interesting that it's next to the tree card because that is medical. So it can actually hurt us medically. So let's see what the forecast is, okay? So whenever we're looking on this side, okay, the fish can mean different opportunities. And then you have this fox over here. So this can actually hurt the opportunities of totally wiping out daylight savings time because it is so hard to change things. So really looking at this, that because we have the fox that's next to the fish, is that there are certain people that will say, no, we are going to keep daylight savings time. So by looking at the cards, it looks like, guys, we're going to have to keep daylight savings time. But we will see what the future has in store for us. Okay, so the next question that we're going to ask our Lenormand cards is, what is the forecast of the U.S. running out of diesel fuel before Thanksgiving? All right, let's do it. Let's watch a video first, and then I will ask the question.
From toilet paper to baby formula and even prescription drugs, shortages have become the norm for Americans during the pandemic. And now some people online are claiming that diesel fuel is the latest product in short supply and that the U.S. will run out by Thanksgiving. Several Verify viewers, including Robert, asked us if the United States will run out of diesel fuel in 25 days.
Go ahead and get the cards, and I'm going to activate actually the fish, because the fish can also symbolize abundance. It can mean money. So because we're talking about diesel fuel, I'm going to activate the fish. Let's shove them a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to ask the question just one more time. What is the forecast for the U.S. running out of diesel fuel before Thanksgiving? I have vacation plans, so I hope that does not happen. Let's see. All right, let's look for the fish. Oh, right there at the very beginning. Okay, so we're going to see what the cards have to say about the answer to our question. So this is very interesting on this side, because this document right here, that's kind of like information that we receive. And so it's very interesting that the fish is actually about the diesel fuel, okay? Now the book means that there's some type of unknown knowledge that we are unaware of. And, you know, that the government or somebody may be aware of it, but we don't know as U.S. citizens, okay? So there may be some information that we don't know. Now, when you go on this other side, this is very, very interesting, okay? So right here, this means like a relationship, and this means, and this is the whip, which means that there are lots of conflicts going on, especially when you're looking at the diesel and the economy and so forth. So because of the conflicts going on, there could be a possibility that there is a shortage. But however, you know, and I've heard this before, that there'll be enough. However, the consumer is going to have to pay more to be able to travel, or, you know, for food, the prices will go up. But because there is a lot of conflict here, that is probably what's going to happen. So there is a possibility that we may have a shortage. I don't think it will be something that's going to stop us in our tracks, but we will be having to pay for it, whatever happens out there. So I think this answers that second question. So now you can see that you can use Lenormand cards to be able to answer questions about future events. It can be so fascinating when you have a lot of fun and just to see what happens, and keep, you know, listening to the headlines and see if your predictions from your Lenormand cards are actually correct. Many blessings.